The sun had barely pierced the mist rolling over the sprawling savanna when the tribe of Homo erectus stirred their movements cautious yet urgent. The air was thick with the scent of wet earth and distant salt, a foreboding whisper carried from the winding river that threaded through the grasslands. A group of hunters crouched low, stone-tipped spears in hand, eyes scanning the water's edge where ripples betrayed the presence of something far larger than the familiar fish they had caught before. They had heard the stories, the whispers of giant predators, shadows beneath the water that could swallow a man whole, but nothing could have prepared them for the sight that emerged. The water erupted as a monstrous shape, scales glinting like molten metal under the morning light, teeth curved and menacing, slicing through the shallows. A collective breath caught in the tribe's chest. Every sense screamed survival. The tribe's elders barked silent signals, hands gesturing, bodies shifting in a language older than speech. Women carried infants wrapped in broad leaves, while older children clutched sharpened sticks, their tiny faces tight with fear and resolve. In unison, the hunters lunged, driving the giant fish back toward deeper waters. Stones, clattering yells turned into guttural cries. Yet the river seemed endless, a conveyor of life and death, and the predator's eyes glinted with intelligence, a hunter as ancient as the sun above them. One hunter stumbled his foot, trapped in the muddy riverbank. Time slowed as the creature lunged, jaws snapping mere inches from his shoulder. A companion reacted instinctively, hurling a spear that thudded deep into the monster's flank. The beast recoiled, water spraying like rain, but the danger was far from over. Meanwhile, the younger members of the tribe scrambled to drag the children to safety atop the higher banks, the grass swallowing their frantic forms. The elders barked again, improvising tools and barriers, using broad leaves and branches to shield the vulnerable. Their survival depended not only on strength, but on unity, on each movement, flowing like a choreographed dance perfected over millennia. The first conflict the river predator had awakened, a primal fear, sharpening senses and forging bonds with every heartbeat. The sky darkened suddenly, clouds rolling in like the advance of an army. A storm threatened to strike, wind bending the tall grasses into waves, lightning illuminating the silhouette of the predator, now circling the shallows, calculating. The tribe shifted tactics, dragging heavy stones to form crude barricades, spears ready to thrust, eyes locked on the monster. Amid the chaos, a young hunter spotted movement upstream, a rival tribe, Homo habilis, emerging from the forest, drawn by the commotion and the scent of potential prey. Tensions surged as two forces of early humanity converged, each as desperate as the other's survival instincts, heightened decisions immediate and unforgiving. Amid the twin threats, storm and predator, the tribe's cohesion was tested. Mothers whispered chants into the wind, small rituals to calm themselves and the children. Spears flashed, water exploded, and the predator lunged again this time, catching only air as coordinated throws drove it back. The Homo erectus tribe held their ground, sweat mixing with rain, fear, and adrenaline intertwining in a pulse that seemed to echo across the savanna. For the first time, they glimpsed a fleeting clarity. Survival was not only in strength, but in foresight, in solidarity, in understanding the living world around them. Every decision now carried the weight of life. Every movement a negotiation with fate. Thunder rumbled across the horizon as the storm approached, dark clouds rolling like a tide, ready to engulf the land. The river churned violently, the giant fish now retreating into deeper shadows, yet its presence remained palpable, a lurking threat beneath the roiling surface. The Homo erectus tribe moved with urgent precision, dragging children and elders further up the bank, their makeshift shelters shivering under the rising wind. The sharp scent of ozone and wet earth mingled with fear, an intoxicating reminder that the world had no mercy for hesitation. Suddenly, a piercing scream split the air, not human, not animal, but something that echoed a primal warning. From the forest edge, the Homo habilis tribe advanced cautiously, eyes, wary hands gripping crude clubs and spears. They were outsiders, yet mirrored in their desperation, each member acutely aware that survival depended on swiftness, cunning, and strength. The two groups froze for a heartbeat. Assessing each other, muscles taut the storm, amplifying every sound. A young Homo erectus hunter stepped forward, spear raised in a gesture neither friendly nor hostile, signaling both caution and readiness. The river roared, and with it the giant fish surged upward, propelled by the gathering fury of the storm. Waves crashed against the bank, splashing the nearest hunters with icy water drenching them, yet igniting an instinctive clarity: they could not fight the predator alone. The rival tribe, though initially a threat, now became an unwilling ally in the moment of absolute peril. Spears flew in coordinated arcs, arrows and stones striking the water, sending the predator into a defensive frenzy. Its massive tail thrashed, knocking over saplings, sending smaller fish scattering in all directions. Fear merged with exhilaration, as both tribes realized that their combined strength, though fragile, was the only barrier between life and oblivion. Lightning split the sky, illuminating the predator's terrifying form, jagged teeth, glinting eyes like molten amber scales, shimmering even in the dim light. One brave hunter, Homo erectus, lunged forward, planting a spear into the creature's side, while another, Homo habilis, wrenched a long branch to distract it. The river seemed alive, thrashing, pulsating with danger every moment, teetering on the edge of catastrophe. Amid the chaos, the younger members shrank behind leafy barricades, shivering, yet watching, learning the ancient choreography of survival, patience, timing, and courage fused into instinct. As the storm intensified, wind tearing through the savanna grasses, a pivotal turn arrived. The riverbank shifted, mud giving way under the weight of the predator's thrashing. With a final deafening splash, the creature disappeared into the swirling currents, wounded but alive. Its threat diminished temporarily. Relief washed over the tribes, though fatigue and adrenaline left their bodies trembling. The Homo erectus and Homo habilis exchanged cautious glances, unspoken acknowledgement passing between them. Today, survival had required both unity and bravery, a temporary truce forged not by choice but by circumstance. Rain poured down in torrents, washing over the riverbank, drenching spears, leaves, and hair. The tribes worked side by side, tending to the wounded, securing food, and protecting the young from the storm's fury. In the midst of chaos, a sense of fragile harmony emerged. The predator had tested them, the rival tribe had tested them, and the storm itself had demanded every ounce of resilience. For the first time that day, laughter, a low, cautious but genuine sound, rose above the thunder. Together they had endured, and together they learned that survival was as much about trust and cooperation as it was about strength and skill. The storm began to wane, leaving the savanna glistening under a pale, trembling sun. Waterlogged grasses swayed gently, whispering stories of survival, and the river's surface shimmered with residual ripples, hinting at the predator's lurking presence beneath. The tribes, exhausted yet alive, began to regroup. Mothers cradled their children, tucking them beneath broad leaves, while hunters inspected spears and stones, their hands scarred and trembling from the struggle. Every movement now carried a new reverence, an understanding that life was a delicate negotiation with nature and each other. A sense of ritual emerged in their actions. Homo erectus elders moved quietly among the survivors, pressing healing herbs into cuts, pressing leaves to bruised limbs, teaching the young the sacred dance of tending to wounds and conserving energy. Across the bank, Homo habilis mirrored the gestures, their eyes reflecting both gratitude and newfound respect for the resilience of their rivals. The river, once a conduit of terror, became a shared teacher, a reminder that the world was neither friend nor foe. It was a crucible in which strength, cunning, and unity were forged. Slowly, the two tribes began a cautious collaboration. Spears were laid down to dry water, was drawn from safer pools in broadleaves, and a communal fire was lit beneath a rocky overhang. The air, still thick with ozone and rain, now carried the aroma of warmth and food. Laughter, soft at first and hesitant, rippled across the bank. Children played in puddles, mimicking the movements of their elders, learning courage through imitation, absorbing the silent lessons of strategy and solidarity. As the sun dipped lower, painting the savanna in molten gold, the two tribes shared what little food remained, a meal of fish and tubers gathered from the riverbanks. The giant predator was still out there lurking in the depths, a reminder of the world's enduring peril. Yet tonight, amidst the wind-whipped grass and glimmering waters, survival had been claimed not through domination, but through cooperation, instinct, and courage. The river roared softly in the background, a lullaby of challenges faced and lessons learned. And in the hearts of these early humans, a fragile hope took root, that even in a world teeming with monstrous predators and rival tribes, life could be sustained and bonds forged in fire and fear could endure beyond a single day.